Hi, everybody. I'm here again with Chris Hertz, Vice President of Sales for Cloud Security at Rapid7. Chris, welcome again.
Hey, I love it. I'm here all day.
Fantastic. Hey, so in our first video in this two-part video series, we took a look at what cloud native applications are and also the notion of shift left in a broader context of a full application lifecycle approach to securing cloud native applications. We wanted to also talk about the technologies, the orchestration platform that is leveraged to integrate security into all stages of the application lifecycle. And when it comes to doing that, Kubernetes is clearly front and center. In fact, Kube, as that orchestration platform, is so fundamental, it's been referred to as the operating system for modern applications. Hey, Chris, what's Rapid7's view on Kubernetes with respect to its relevance and sort of its role in cloud native security?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, first of all, we've seen Kubernetes over the last 12, 24 months really emerge as a dominant standard for how people can approach cloud native software development and make it easier, better, and faster. And that, by the way, is true for containers. And often we see people starting to leverage some of the Kubernetes serverless frameworks as well. So it really expands beyond just the container side of the world, really into everything that we would consider to be cloud native.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also seeing organizations consume Kubernetes in different ways, either as a service or standing up on-prem kube clusters. Are you seeing that with your customers as well?
Yeah, there's certainly a diversity there, and look, most customers that we interact with are heterogeneous, right? And they often the way that Kubernetes is designed is by the developers, right? It's not typically centralized. There's not one Kubernetes administrator who runs an entire Kubernetes environment. Sometimes it happens, but in many cases you have very bespoke models that develop by developer team. There are different approaches, and so it really means that as you think about cloud native security, it is often very different depending even inside an organization, how it has been manifested.
One of the clear themes we're seeing in this domain is convergence, both organizationally and for controls. So sort of this transition from silos where we had separate teams and separate controls to secure separate environments to really one of centralized teams to go from a bottoms up approach to a tops down approach for consistency of policy. And those centralized teams are now looking to converge what has been a disparate set of tools into platforms. So while some project teams would start with a cloud security posture management solution to make sure they have hardened configurations in production, or a cloud workload protection offering for host level security, they're now also mixing in cloud infrastructure entitlement management solutions to bring identity into the mix. There's also cloud DLP and some other cloud native security controls, but that's becoming unwieldy. And so there's the emergence of cloud native application protection platforms to provide more operational efficiency vis-a-vis the integration, but also consistency of policy across project teams. What's your view in this trend, Chris, and how does Rapid7's DivvyCloud offering meet the related requirements and, again, going from point tools to a platform?
Yeah, look, we're very well aligned with what you described. I mean, first of all, if you think about the Rapid7 ecosystem, we have products that really provide a full stack level of security, and again, across the full lifecycle. So running from application security through to vulnerability management, through into your traditional cloud security posture management, your cloud infrastructure entitlement management, your Kubernetes security platform, going all the way to things like detection response and into SIM. So we have that full view of the world, and we're really about how do we make sure that we are operationalizing security across the full lifecycle stack. What's interesting when we look at it is, again, how do you start to bring all that context into a single platform, and to start to provide that with different lenses that people can view it through. And we think one of the more important lenses is this application lens, the idea of how do we try and bubble up risk at an application level. And again, I'm not talking about just application security, it's all the fundamental components that go into that. So for example, if I have a cloud misconfiguration, or if I have a Kubernetes misconfiguration, or if I have a poorly governed IAM policy associated with this application, all those things should bubble up and be presented in a way that I can consume them at that application layer, and again, communicate them to the right people at the right time to go and solve. And so that convergence is really important, I think, especially given the rate of change and the ephemeral nature of cloud. It really requires the ability for us to, again, be very accurate and precise in identifying the risk contextually and delivering that back to folks to help to solve it.
Yeah, I think you really nailed it by describing it with an objective around operationalizing security. which maps to a point you made in our first video, which is how do you keep pace at scale? If you can integrate security every step of the life cycle vis-a-vis automation, you can keep pace with that dynamic ephemeral nature of cloud, and you can replicate those implementation of best practices across project teams. Now you have consistency across all your applications. Hey, Chris, always enjoy talking about cloud native security with you. We've only scratched the surface here on these two videos because it's such an expansive topic. So we certainly welcome all of our viewers to visit both the Rapid7 and the ESG websites for additional information. And thanks for watching.